Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Josh, and today we're going to talk about bootlegs and fakes. I'm going to show you a little bit of my collection. Let's get into it. So traditionally we think of fakes as like a fake handbag where someone's trying to rip off Louis Vuitton and sell it as a Louis Vuitton. But in like the vintage community and some of the resale communities, and there's this sort of distinction between something that is fake and something that is called bootleg. And a lot of this comes from the culture around like hip hop and rock bands that were popular and would go to tours and shows, and in the parking lots people would have their own sort of fan art versions of their merchandise, and they would sell them out of their cars, etc. And so this sort of led to a rise of the argument between what is something is fake and something is bootleg, and it can go on and on and on and on, but typically it breaks down like this. Something that is fake is intentionally trying to reproduce something that already exists, like a product, like a Louis Vuitton handbag. Someone wants to make a Louis Vuitton Eclipse backpack, and they want to exactly replicate it so that you think you're buying a Louis Vuitton bag, but you're not. Well, with a bootleg, you know it's not a true piece of official licensed merchandise. You know it's not officially trademarked or anything like that. But you do want the vibe. So in some sense, it is like fan art is with other IPs and other trademarks. It's just sort of a remixed version of it. So I do have a bunch of what I consider bootlegs, and maybe some that may be considered fake. So you can take a look at my collection and see what you think. Is it fake or is it bootleg? All right, first off, we have this Tommy sportswear tank top. Print is super dope. The colors are pretty right. As far as I know, there's nothing that's technically this design. This is not a design that Tommy Hilfiger ever wore. And you can see up here that the tag clearly is not a Tommy tag. And so definitely not a true licensed piece of Tommy Hilfiger gear. But it's pretty dope. I think the colors are dope. No hit on the back. Definitely feels like fairly decent quality. This is probably a fairly early boot, considering that the tag is fairly old. So I think it's pretty dope. I definitely am going to wear it when I have a chance to, because I think it's cool. I'm not going to sell it because I could get in trouble for selling fakes, because eBay and some of these other platforms don't necessarily differentiate between a fake and a bootleg. All right, next we have this Tommy Girl tee. You guys probably saw this come out of a rag bag recently. This looks like, oh, it's on a Tommy Hilfiger tag. Not true. It actually was originally a Fruit of the Loom tag, but somebody took it and threw on a fake Tommy tag here and left the other tag from the previous manufacturer of this t-shirt. But it's pretty good. It's not, you can see how it bunches right here. That's not, Tommy Hilfiger would never let that happen. But not a true product. Definitely faked bootleg. But I think it's a pretty cool bootleg. Tommy Girl stuff wasn't entirely like super common, and I believe, and this might just be myth, but I believe people started bootlegging Tommy Girl before Tommy Hilfiger actually sort of used Tommy Girl at all. Alright, so next I have a Nike bootleg, and this is kind of interesting. It's this dope jersey, like hockey jersey, real thin. It's got this Nike embroidered like felt on here too. Swoosh is cool, Nike here. It says Nike made in Italy, right? Okay, cool. Well, underneath you have a tag that says made in USA. Clearly that is not correct. This is not an officially licensed Nike piece, but I don't actually think this Nike design exists, at least not on this setup here. So it's a pretty cool bootleg, like pretty unique in my opinion. I think it's pretty dope. It's been in my collection for quite a while. I've never worn it, but someone might one day. Here's an item that's not quite bootleg and it's not quite fake either. It's this guy right here. It's Mommy Sport. This is sort of what we consider, it's just inspired by. They are not, infringing on anyone's trademark. They're not using colors. They're using some general design ideas. But I think this is hilarious. Hilarious. Mommy Sport. I found this and I was like, I knew I had to have it. Wasn't gonna be like a big piece or nothing, but super cool to have something this sort of funny. It is vintage. It is maternity wear, so someone is just playing on the Tommy Sport or Polo Sport sort of vibe. All right, next we have another one that's sort of inspired by, but clearly trying to rip off Ralph Lauren. It says International Polo Club. It's on the Fruit of the Loom tag XL. Single stitch. This is really reminiscent of the Polo Ralph Lauren horse and polo player. So they make it look like it is official, but it's not. So this is another weird one because it doesn't necessarily fit into the fake category because they're not necessarily claiming that this is a Ralph Lauren piece. I guess bootleg is probably more closely accurate to this, but this horse right here really does appear like it's trying to directly rip off and sort of use the imagery of Ralph Lauren. All right, now it seems like Nike bootlegs are the coolest ones. I've got this one right here. This one is absolutely sick. It doesn't actually technically say Nike anywhere, but it has the Nike catchphrase motto, just do it. Nike's print ends all over the place on this thing. I've seen other ones like this, so this was a fairly common bootleg, I believe, but this is incredibly dope. Super cool, wild piece. I've seen it like one other place, I think on the internet somewhere, but it wasn't even this exact version. So such a cool bootleg. Had to have it when I found it in the thrift somewhere. I can't exactly even remember where, but super dope piece. All right, we got another Nike bootleg. This one is Swoosh by Nike. It says Nike Team Sports. I would consider this more like a fake because this is something very reminiscent of what actually Nike would actually produce, but it's definitely not by Nike. This embroidery is all kinds of messed up. It's not well done. This tag is super sus, and there's a tag underneath it, much like some of these other tags that I've talked about. It clearly doesn't look like it belongs in Nike. The material and the construction is very poor. This is not a true Nike piece. This would probably be, in my opinion, more like a fake. All right, we got another bootleg fake here. Calvin Klein jeans. It has the Calvin Klein patch, right? Nope, but look what we have down here. Another Fruit of the Loom tag. This is probably another sort of fake too, because this is a pretty similar design to some of the stuff that they've done. And, you know, it's done somewhat poorly. It's kind of crooked. The back still has this big old patch thing on it. This is typically fairly... This will let you know that your item is fake or bootleg because Calvin Klein would never leave all this material in there. But it's pretty cool. It's cool to rock some of this stuff when you find it. Definitely not trying to like sell it on eBay again. I can't do that. You can get in trouble for that. And I don't really love like purveying the idea that people should, you know, copy some of this stuff. But when you find it, you know, someone's gonna buy it. It's gonna go somewhere. So I might as well pick it up myself and enjoy the interesting vibes from it. Here we have another one. This is a fake, in my opinion. It's on an Oneida tag, and this is a design that Tommy Hilfiger uses. There are t-shirts out there that are actual legit Tommy t-shirts like this, single stitch on this thing. This is a fake. This is a try to pull off and be an exact copy of a product Tommy already produces. So that is, I don't like that, and that was probably fairly easy for someone to screen print and, you know, sell it really easily and real cheaply and make a buck, because it was actually a pretty good looking version of a product that already existed. Unfortunately, it is fake. So there does seem to be, at least in the design and the aesthetic arena of these garments, that the bootlegs are particularly distinct. They are unique. They are more like fan art, whereas the fakes are exact copies where someone's trying to fool somebody. So that is unfortunate, and I'm sure the battle and the debate will rage on about the differences between the two and the acceptability within the culture. But for what it is, we have some pretty wild and pretty cool, unique garments here, and I'm sure you probably run into them out there in the wild. If it's not a bad price, I'd pick it up. You might as well. and appreciate it for what it is, and you know, not for what it's not. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.